Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Odin here. It's Sunday again. This is my second attempt at making this video, as I was interrupted halfway through the last time and had to scramble to my tornado shelter. So there we are again, getting use and mileage out of that thing. No tornado. The house is still standing, or there was a tornado, but didn't hit my house. But it went from warned, and then I was kind of watching the radar in the background. Went, okay, yeah, it looks like it might come here. To while I was in the shelter, to the same one I got the other time, which was like the extreme alert, like there's a fucking tornado, get to shelter, get safe. So I was like, ah. But this time I was quite prepared. I had headphones down in the shelter because it's like super loud and tinny in there. And I tried to record like a little video while I was in there, just like, hey, I'm in the tornado shelter. But it sounds like ass because it is like really tinny. So got a bunch of headphones for me and the girls whenever we have to go down there. So there's that. But also, as you can see, I have a comic book up here instead of a drawing that I was working on. Reason being is as I was scrambling to get my shelter, I saw these binders full of all my original pages for Unconditional Shove and Kill Them Dead and all that, and just a lot of original art. And I'm like, oh, I'm grabbing those, because if there's a tornado comes through, destroys my house, at least I'll have all my original artwork. So I grabbed all those. I grabbed some water. I have this little magnetic lamp that I can just, because it's like a metal cage that I'm in, a metal compartment box, and it's a magnetic lamp. So I just stuck that on there. Had my drawings, had my phone, and just waited. And yeah, it sounded pretty crazy. There was a lot of thunder, a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but obviously the tornado that hit didn't come near me. I don't think it was anything super powerful anyway, but it was there. And yeah, got that same old-fashioned feeling of imminent danger, get to shelter. So that said, because I didn't know if I was gonna be on alert again. It's still raining, it's still storming outside. I didn't know if I'd still be on alert again, so I just left my drawings, which included the one I was working on. So that's what I mean. Like, I threw that in the folders, and those are still down there, just waiting, just in case. Because I'm like, if anything happens, at least I'll still have those. But yeah, everything's fine. And I've also been keeping an eye on where the girls live, and theirs is almost like me yesterday, where it was like an angel just like guiding everything away, which I don't want to use those terms because like other people's lives get destroyed, but it just seems like the storms just cut a path right around where my daughters are, at least so far. So I think they're good through the night. But it's a little later here, so I'm probably not going to ramble too terribly long like I normally would. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, that was fun. So let's see. What was I talking about before I had to disrupt my last one? Well, I went down the line. I talked about the lineup. So it was tweeted out on the Broken Compass Entertainment Twitter. I won't call it X. I'll never call it X. And the reason being, or several reasons. One, if I say X, not everyone knows what I mean. If I say Twitter, everyone knows what I mean. I don't give a fuck. Everyone knows what I mean. Two, if you type it in a search engine, twitter.com, it'll take you right there. It's still the .com is still twitter.com. So, those two reasons. And anybody thinks it's dead naming, it's like, I don't think it matters with a corporation of that size, the dead name. I'll call it whatever I want. Plus, I hate that term anyway. I hate all these modern social friendly terms that get thrown on stuff. It's just dumb. So, it's Twitter. It'll always be Twitter. Even though it has a stupid X on it, it's still Twitter. So, where was I going? Oh, that was a tangent. Yes. On the Broken Compass Entertainment Twitter page was tweeted out, and I'm sure we tweeted out again, the schedule, the tentative, I guess, release schedule for the books coming out this year. Several of which are in sign up right now. So you can still go to the website and sign up to be informed of the launch date and any updates. Get on the mailing list. Those two that are in signups are Magnificent Bastards #2 and The Splash. So Magnificent Bastards #2 will be the first to launch. It will be launching at the end of May. And you really want to get on this. It's one of the funniest, most awesome books. And I am close to the situation, obviously. So I'm biased. But even without bias, I really loved the first book and would be so excited for this second issue. So yeah, you should jump on that. And if you missed out, if you did not get Magnificent Bastards #1, never fear. You could read it for free, digitally, of course, with a free digital download, which I'll drop down below. And you go there, you can read it. New artist on issue 2, and nothing against Samir, who is a great artist, but he had too many projects and he was too slow at getting pages to us, so we had to make that decision, or James mainly had to make that decision to find a new one. And we are very pleased with Sketch 51 and his work on Magnificent Bastards #2. He's much, much faster. He's really taken hold of the vision of the book and making it just pure awesome. So you can get the digital download, sign up for the campaign, which is launching next month. Well, basically a month from now. And yeah, get on board Magnificent Bastards. One of the funniest. Yeah, it's definitely raunchy, but the humor is on point. James is a funny dude. If he's anything, he's pretty funny. And he's a good writer. So being an excellent writer and quite funny, it pours through in these pages of Magnificent Bastards. It's a great book, very fun. So yeah, so sign up for that. Get ready for the launch. And also in sign up is The Splash, which is Skunk Artworks' debut of both his writing and his art in solo. So this is his gift to the world, and it is a great gift. Specifically for children, it is a children's book, which is kind of odd for Broken Compass Entertainment because we do a lot of craziness with my book, Unconditional Shove, and with James's book, Magnificent Bastards. They're adult, or teen to adult, if anything. So yeah, we do a little more crazy stuff, whereas this book, The Splash, is wholesome. It's a wholesome tale that inspires courage and virtue in young people. So it's a children's book. The artwork is fantastic. If you don't know who Skunk Artworks is, educate yourself, because he is, just search him out on Instagram or Twitter or wherever. He's phenomenal. And so happy that I've got to work with him in many different avenues, and so happy that I get to see this project that's just pure him get released and put out there to the world. So definitely sign up for that. Get ready. The launch will be late June for that one. Tentatively, I believe that's totally feasible because he's nearly done. Magnificent Bastards 2 is nearly done. In the midst of that, I didn't mention Unconditional Shove Volume I, which has been in circulation for a while now, but we do have reprints for anyone who missed out on the very limited first printing campaign that we ran, which was my baby. And that is out there in the wild, but we also have the reprints campaign for anyone who missed out. It's basically second chance, but we call it reprint because just like this here, it's very specifically the first print. And So the people who got in on the ground floor, they got that. And maybe you could seek it out if you ever so desired. Maybe it's on eBay. I don't know. It could be. But if you missed out and you just want to read it, because it's a lot of fun, it's a crazy horror anthology that I'm starting to do. It was my first foray, and I had a blast, and I learned a lot, and the artwork's fun, and everything about it. It's cool. I really enjoyed it. The only thing that'll be different than the first printing is the paper quality won't be quite as good. It'll be more reader-like because we did much heavier cardstock or paper stock for the first one. It'll be only in black and white, so no color option. And it'll have the Skunk Artworks print that was shipped out with every order of the first one will be the cover of this one. And the last caveat is there'll be no Cole story at the back. So I threw in that 6-page Cole of Atlantis story in the last one, and that will not be in the reprints. So it'll be the people who got the first printing, it'll be special. You got the one that is quite different than any reprint we're ever going to do, because this is how the reprints are always going to be. But anyway, that's on fundmycomic.com. That link will be below. All the links will be below. The signups, the free download for Magnificent Bastards 1, the sign up for the Bastards 2, the sign up for Splash, and the Fund My Comic for Unconditional Shove. All those will be below. But also in the future, we'll also be releasing Cascadia from Ryan Miller, which is another great book that's more wholesome, a great tale of kind of coming of age. It's a young apprentice who's learning from a hardened master. The artwork sings on this as well. Ryan's a fantastic artist and really understands art, and all of that book is hand painted, and so it's just a beautiful book. Excited for that one. And we'll also be releasing Unconditional Shove Volume 2, which I was working on, that you won't see the page because I threw it in my storm shelter, but that one is starting to wrap up, and we'll be bringing that all together so that we can do that campaign and launch it. And then what's next? Oh, well, Kill Them Dead. Kill Them Dead, which has been a long time coming. We had the Psych Out launch, realizing that maybe it was biting off more than we could chew in that sense, but we never gave up on it. We're never stopping on this project. It's just a very ambitious, crazy project. And that project, if you don't know, is a blacklight printed comic book. And it's not a comic book. It's a picture book. It's story with imagery. And I'm drawing all the pencils while Skunk Artworks, who, like, I sing his praises already, but he is hand painting all of the penciled pages that I draw. And they're all going to be printed on blacklight reactive pages. And the other cool thing is it comes with a double album of power metal that I'm singing on and Jacob Lizette is playing music on, and it's really good sounding. And we've still got a lot of work to do on all of it, but when it's finally done, this will be one of the most rewarding things I've ever created in my life, like as a whole. And so super proud of it, super excited to finally get that out there. That might be postponed a little bit because it is just a lot. And, the more we got into it, the more we realized we need more time on this. And that's why the first campaign was kind of a psych out. And then also, whether that comes before Kill Them Dead or after, it'll be around the beginning of the year, next year. But we also have Paper Machete, which is a straight-up horror book, graphic novel that is written by our friend Good Stuff, Mr. Good Stuff, however he goes by, Good Stuff. And and James and him are co-writing that. And that one's a lot of fun. It's a slasher, but it's also got like cultic, weird elements and rock and roll. There's a lot of weirdness going on there. And very intriguing story that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll start talking about that more as time goes on. That one's a bit further out, but all these things are going to be coming out soon. So anyway, so go through that whole list, which I just did not too long ago before I ran off to my shelter. That's what's on the docket as far as books. We still do Saturday Night Leaped, which is a lot of fun. A lot of craziness. So last night, we still had all the crazy storms, but it was kind of a nothing situation for my area because I was like waiting for that moment where I had to run off stream and go, yeah, I got to go to my shelter and, peace out for everybody. But never happened. We didn't really get much of anything. And I kind of waited till the wee hours of the morning waiting for these storms to catch up, and they had just kind of lost all their power when they got to me. So I was like, well, stayed up late because I usually do on Saturday nights anyway, but yeah. Hung out with my buddy Chris Fisk for a long time after the show. And we just talked about comics and random shit, life and psychology and the state of our world. So anyway, that was like a whole nothing, and then today it didn't seem like anything until just recently. I'm like, oh, it's happening. Got to run to the shelter. There's a tornado. A tornado. Yeah. So we do that semi-regularly. We don't go live every week, but I'm probably going to bring back the driving and singing stuff. I haven't done it in a long time. There's a couple songs I promised to people and never delivered, so I'll probably do those. I just hadn't had the motivation. Honestly, I haven't really enjoyed live streaming as much lately, and I've been extra busy with work and extra, what would I say, hyper aware of storm activity lately, which has actually taken a lot of my mental focus. So I haven't got as much drawing done as much as I want to either. So just random shit. That's just life. They're excuses, but they're my excuses. Anyway, so I haven't been on as many streams. I haven't been as social. I haven't been posting and social media. I keep saying I need to get on track with that, but I just hate it so much. It's not my personality bent to be like shilling all the time. And so it's just aggravating to like, it's almost like a dread feeling like, oh, you should be posting shit. And I'm like, why? Well, I know why, but just don't wanna. I don't wanna. Anyway, but that said, work's going good. I was extremely busy with work, but that said, it's going good. I'm very busy. I like to be busy, but that's the whole thing. Is my last job, I could kind of like turn my brain off, do my work, and because I could do it in my sleep, and then just come home and do artwork and work on comic book shit and stream and whatever, and really settled into it. But this is like still fairly new job. I mean, I've been here for a while now, but it still feels fairly new, and the responsibility and the amount of workload just keeps ramping up, and I don't see any sign of that stopping. So is what it is, as they say. Trying to think of anything else cool. I don't know. Nothing else of particular note. That's my life basically. I work a lot, and then when I come home, I draw a lot, or I just do responsible things like cleaning house and making dinner and all that stuff. That's life. Specifically, because this weekend was firing off with so many storms. I was supposed to have my daughters this weekend, but the travel from where they live to where I live, I just could see, and like tonight would have been a perfect example. Like they would have already been home, but I might have been driving back in this shit. and it like crosses the highway basically where I would be coming, and I would have just been caught in the middle of a bunch of craziness because a lot of the crazy stuff that was happening fairly recently was right on that highway. Now I probably would have already been home by then, but nonetheless, I didn't want to risk it, and also I didn't want their mom or my oldest daughter driving uh, through it if like it really popped off into some crazy. Because even if it's not tornadic, even if it's just crazy thunderstorms, the kind of supercell thunderstorms that cause tornadoes are the kind that would be like right there on that highway at any time, and they have very damaging winds, lots of lightning, lots of rain, hail potentially. So just all the hardest stuff to drive in. And again, me driving by myself, that's a whole different ballgame than having my most precious cargo in the vehicle with me at the same time, and or thinking of my oldest daughter as like a new driver, making that trek and that kind of conditions, so like she'll get her a taste of it somehow, but I don't want it to be, it's kind of like if you can avoid it, you avoid it. Like when we used to live in Washington, it was kind of the same thing. We lived about the same amount of travel away from each other, maybe a little closer. But if there was a big blizzard, we'd just go, not this weekend, we'll do next weekend. It's not worth the amount of driving because I got to drive there, drive back, and all that. So anyway, they didn't stay with me this weekend, and they're fine where they're at. Like I said, everything just kind of bubbled around them, at least from what I could tell. Now, I could look at the recent radar and see what's going on in their neck of the woods. It sounds really calm here right now, so we're fine. Yeah, they look fine too. There's a few storms jumping down around them, but they're all to the north of them. They're fine. So yeah, it's just like a bubble right around where they live. So they just probably sleeping in their beds right now because it is pretty late. So yeah, with that, I'll wrap this up. That's all that's, as I say, fit to print here in Odin's world. And yeah, until next time, hopefully some of this severe weather calms down a bit, or at least to the point where I'm not jumping in and out of a tornado shelter regularly and wondering about the state of my house. But it's new for me moving out to the Midwest. Like, I've always loved weather, I've always loved storms, and I'm fascinated with it, but it's still new to me, so I'm figuring it out. But with that, like I said, I've been very fascinated by it. I've been eating up coverage and things like that, and watching radar, and well, the other thing too, like we had wasn't like the craziest storms. We just had tons of rain at the beginning of all of this popping off, like flooding level rain. And I got to work, and I parked my Jeep, and then I realized I wasn't parked very well, but I'd already turned it off. And I was like, I should adjust my parking. So I went to start it again, and nothing. Now, I didn't think it was the battery. I thought the battery was fine. So I kept thinking it was probably something else, and I was checking other things, but it was straight up downpour. And so I just went inside, and I was kind of talking to my boss about, like, I've got to figure this thing out with my car. And then a coworker has become a good friend and a very helpful person by nature. He borrowed a charger from security, and we were able to jump start it. And he's like, it's probably just your battery. So I was like, all right. So then it was started. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to run to O'Reilly's, have them check the battery. If it's the battery, change the battery. And so he did all that in the downpour, just to come back in this strange downpour. It like was not letting up ever. And then run back inside. Let my boss know, okay, I'm back. I just had to get that fixed, and we're good to go now. But that was crazy. A lot of rain that day specifically. And then yeah, it's kind of been popping off ever since. Just a lot of storms in the Midwest. Varying levels of intensity in different places, but it's followed this convection line that just kind of changes in different times. But along that line, you just see monster storms all along that line, and that's the convection line. It's cold air from the west over the Rockies meeting the Gulf warm air and causing a rise in clouds and causing instability and lightning and potentially lots of rain and tornadoes and hail. And yeah, and it's just been nonstop from like Thursday night until now. And it's supposed to be, another couple days of still more instability and causing these storms. So, but I don't think it's going to mess with my area too much the next couple days. We'll see. I never know. I didn't think it would today, but it did. But it did. I mean, we were in one of those like, hey, it could happen in your area kind of things. And certainly the worst of everything wasn't here. It's just the worst of it for me. Anyway, I'm getting tired. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining me here in my, it's mostly like sob stories or just me like talking about what's going on and everything. But that said, hopefully you enjoyed this little, this is one of my treasures that I got at Planet Comic-Con. And one of the reasons I found it so interesting, because I saw this one that was the first print. They had this on the magazine bag. And I was like, I wonder if they have the second print so I can kind of look and make, see what the difference is. Now, I spotted it right away. I think I talked about this on another video, but it says art by Bernie Wrightson, but they spelled his name wrong. They forgot the E. And I pulled up the second printing, or another printing, and sure enough, the E was there. So that's one of those things. It was an easy tell that this was the first printing, because I'm sure it got out. Maybe Bernie Wrightson himself was like, you fucked up my name, guys. Like, what's up with that? It's not how you spell Bernie. So then they fixed it on reprints. And not going to lie, there was a couple things I saw in Shove Volume I that I went, that was a mistake. We have fixed that on the reprint. So if you're a completionist or whatever, you want to see it fixed, you can find find those things. Maybe you can find the errors. And get on that Unconditional Shove reprint thing. You can also get like an exclusive, really cool t-shirt. Unconditional Shove t-shirt. Features a page from the book. One of my favorite pages in the book. It's where the Alaskan girl number 21 is connected to the artificial reality machine, about to go into Mindy's dream and fight the monster. And it's just a picture of her on the chair, hooked to all the hoses and wires for the artificial reality thing. And one of my favorite pages to draw. And yeah, it became a pretty cool shirt. So again, if you love Unconditional Shove, go get you a shirt. I'm hoping I get mine here soon, but because I've got to get my own, right? It's always the case. So anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, as I always leave you with is, I hope you're facing all your obstacles, all your challenges with strength, courage, and confidence and power, and always a great care for the loved ones in your life, as well as doing everything with integrity. And you do that, I think things will generally work out for you for the best. And if you never tried it, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Try it. Try it out. See what happens. Usually it works out better. And even if it doesn't, you sleep better. You feel better. Because deep down, you did the right thing. You acted with integrity and courage and confidence and virtue and did the right thing. Took care of the people around you and all that. So anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, thank you for checking out what I had to say. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.